Hello there. So if you saw yesterday's video, you should know that this week, today, Friday, September 6th, I believe, let me check. Yep, the 6th. What a weird fucking word. 6th, the 6th. Whatever. I'm reviewing 2 weeks worth of comics from August 28th and now from September. It would be the 3rd, I think. September 4th. That was close. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Time to begin this week with Aquaman issue 23, the final part of this Dead King arc, Death of a King arc, final chapter. So we continue last time where we left off with basically everybody going after Aquaman and Mira, after the first king. It's sort of like confusing with Wonder Woman, but the firstborn, and now you have like the first king of Atlantis or whatever. It's like I'm back from the dead. I want my throne back. You guys silly, and so then all of Mira's clan is after Aquaman and Mira now too. So they swim all the way back to Atlantis, which is under attack from the Scavenger. Good picture of the Scavenger. I cannot find one minute. Yeah, no, I cannot find a... Oh, here he is. This guy. He's currently on the throne of Atlantis. So Aquaman and Mira race back to Atlantis to find him attacking the city. Aquaman will not stand for this fucking bullshit. Summons a giant fucking monster to take back Atlantis. And then some shit goes down, and Aquaman wakes up 6 months later. What is with six? Six. Fucking hate this word. 6 months later. So, and it's not really a conclusion to the arc. I mean, it's just really this issue is just them literally running away from the arc, and all the arc happened. All that happened in the arc. Aquaman summons the giant squid, gets knocked out. So, I mean, what this really is, and I kind of hate to say it, this is just a cold open for the next arc to come. And just this issue alone, like you have all that setup from the first four issues of this arc. We don't get a conclusion out of this one. We get them running away, and they're like, oh, well, 6 months later, now we find out what happens, which is kind of bullshit, really. You just had 5 issues that amount to nothing because you're doing a very abrupt time skip. So yeah, it's a cold open for the next arc, and I'm gonna have more to say about this sort of idea when we get to another comic I'm reviewing right now. But I'm not liking it, but at the same time, I do kind of want to know what happens. It's not a badly done comic. It's just the kind of philosophy, the principle of the idea is what bothers me. But it's not bad. It's just kind of a cock tease. Like I said, a cold open. So we'll see what happens. We then move on to The Flash, issue 23, which I thought would be the conclusion to the arc, but it is not. We still have one more issue left in it. So this is the penultimate issue of the Reverse Flash storyline going on here. And basically just got the first real confrontation between Flash and Reverse Flash. They fight, they run around, chase each other a little, and it's some really good stuff. I mean, we get lots of, not necessarily, well, this is splash page, but then just these, not necessarily splash pages, but these just big, nice, pages of. I think it's just really well done and really well constructed. And I mean, the art on the Flash book has always been some of the best in the New 52. So, and just these really just wonderful looking pieces. But they don't lose any narrative. Like, you still get the story. It's not interrupting the story for this beautiful, for this great big fight scene. Like, there's dialogue and shit, and you get information while this is happening. So, so while Flash and Reverse Flash are fighting, you have Irish. I cannot speak today. Iris West going, that she has powers after all. She decides to see what's up. We find out that Reverse Flash is Daniel West, Iris West's brother. And that just broadens the mystery of Reverse Flash and why he's doing all this. But we will find out more about that in the next issue of The Flash, which, well, not the next issue, but during Villains Month we have a Reverse Flash issue, which would be all about him. So we find out more about this, and then this arc concludes in October with Flash 24, which I'll be looking forward to. Again, I mean, The Flash, another really good issue. I say this every week, every month. If you're not reading it, pick it up. But yeah, it's just amazing how you have these just brilliant pages like this, but they don't lose any momentum with the story. It really is just a pleasure to read this every month. So pick it up. Next, we have Superman issue 23, who new creative team. I don't know if I noticed this last month or if this is the first month they're working on it. But new creative team working on Superman. It's not Lobdell anymore. And there is a marked improvement in this issue. I don't know if this is a continuation of the whole Hive versus Hector Hammond thing. Hammond, Hive. Sorry, I'm still not used to the camera mirrored effect. Anyway, we're still continuing that, but we start off 4 years ago with another member of the 20, or the 20 people possessed by Brainiac, or not possessed by, but given abilities by Brainiac, before jumping back to where we are with Superman and the Queen of Hive. They quickly get interrupted by Hammond, and then you get some fight. You get Superman flying around, trying to fight the Queen. Some nice kind of brains versus brawn thing going on, with Superman being confused by the Queen's psionic powers, telekinesis, making doubles of herself, and all that. Some really good stuff. A really good fight, actually. Before they get interrupted by Hammond, as I said. We also get some more what's happening with Lois after the annual, where she was made part of the 20 in Superman Annual 2. So we get her waking up from what she thought was death. Then we get Hammond versus the Queen, which is a purely psionic fight scene, also pretty good. But I think the best part of this really is the end, and just the comic does a very clever thing with the narration bubbles, with these little yellow things. I don't want to spoil it, but just really clever thing that the comic does with those. And when you get to the end, you'll find out, it's like, oh wow, that's really neat, and it sets up a new villain. But yeah, just overall a good book. Superman getting better with this issue. I like the way this arc is developing. It's been going on a little long now, but I do like the way it's developing, and yeah, this is a good issue. I'd pick it up. I don't know if you haven't been reading this arc, I don't know if picking up the whole thing, but I'd pick this up just for the clever thing they do with the narration. I think it's worth it on it alone. So a good book. Next up, we have The Dark Knight, issue 23, the conclusion of the Clayface arc, which short arc, I think. This is issue 3 of it, I think. Maybe even 2. Basically, yeah, just the conclusion of the Clayface arc. Not much to say about it. Mainly Batman versus Clayface, trying to contain Clayface, running into issues because he's so slippery. We get some really good interrogation. I think like it opens with Batman trying to stop Clayface at the stock exchange. Closes with Batman capturing Clayface. Big shock there. But in between, we get this great bit of this Batman trying to figure out how why is Clayface doing this? Who's Clayface working for? So we have Batman interrogating Mad Hatter here. He moves on to the Penguin, and I just love the first 3, or first few panels. Batman sneaking in, Penguin's ghost for the umbrella. Batman saying he switched it. It's just, I think, some great Batman interrogation stuff. We get Batman and Gordon have a scene on the roof, which is really cool. And yeah, it's just a nice, well done Batman capturing the bad guy arc. Splash page right here at the end. Just yeah, a really well done arc in all, I'd say. This issue really well done, really entertaining. The art style might throw some people off, but personally I enjoy it. So yeah, like I said, not much to say. Just some good Batman fighting Clayface, good Batman interrogation. Overall, a good issue. I'd pick it up. Moving on to Batman Superman issue 3. So last issue we had a demon or whatever pop out of Lois Lane fighting Wonder Woman. We get basically just continue straight from there. The demon and the Superman Wonder Woman fight a little. We have Earth 2 Superman talking about Earth 1 Superman saying, oh, he doesn't have any control yet because he's younger and all that. Then we have the demon. We find out later about her in another comic I'm reviewing this week, but we have her teleport away, implanting a little seed of doubt in Earth 2 Superman about Earth 2's Batman. So they go off to find Batman, and then while that's happening, we get a flashback to how Earth 2 Clark and Earth 2 Bruce first met, and we get them as kids playing ball together. Bruce showing out his judo, and it's some really sweet stuff. I like these little bonding things. We have later on them going out after dinner, and just playing around. Meanwhile, this is narrated, or this flashback is being had by Earth 2 Superman, who's kind of just fondly remembering how Bruce has always surprised him. So, and then at the end, we have both Batman and both Supermen meet up at the end, and we find out they get into a short fight. It's not really a fight, it's more like the Earth 1 Superman doesn't trust the Earth 2 Batman. Earth 2 Batman, just stuff happens. They all end up meeting up. Wonder Woman's still there. And then we have the kind of the cliffhanger setting up what we already see on the cover, setting up that Darkseid is coming to Earth 2, which means that this book takes place, well, we already know it took place before the proper Earth 2 comic, but now we get to see Darkseid really staking a claim in Earth 2 and what really goes down now that we have Earth 1 and Earth 1 Batman and Superman, not Earth 1, Earth Prime? I don't know. But now that we have the main universe, Batman and Superman, younger Batman and Superman here too, we get to kind of see how this all goes down. And yeah, it's well done. Batman, Superman, it's been good so far. Can't really complain. I like the interactions between the older Superman and the younger Superman, and the older Batman and the younger Batman. I really like the flashback. It's nothing extraordinary. It's nothing to really rave about, but it's a really well done book. Constantly well written. The art is fantastic throughout. You go through a few changes in style. I think we still have Jai Lee. Yeah, Jai Lee switching off with this other person. Yildiri Sinar. I don't know. Kainar. I'm not going to bother because I'm going to mess it up. But both art styles are really good. And of course I showed, here is Jai Lee, and then doing the present day stuff. And then we have, I'm guessing, the other artist who's doing the flashback effects. So, nice. Showing off both styles here. So yeah, it's a really good book so far, only 3 issues in. Still kind of setting up the whole dynamic and universe, but it doesn't really feel really slow, which I enjoy, so pick it up. Moving on. Oh boy. So I said when discussing Aquaman about the whole thing where the story just feels like a cold open or a tease for the next one. And I said to talk about that more later, and I will, because we have gotten to Trinity War, Part 6 of 6, Justice League issue 23. And I do not have any good things to say about this comic. I've mentioned throughout reading Trinity War how the whole thing just seems like they're asking way too many questions. They're not solving anything. They're jumping back and forth and back and forth. And you think, oh, it's the last issue. We're trying to get a bunch of conclusions, but that's really not what happens. We start off with a big fight scene. The Trinity War that was teased. We get a bunch of. There's like 5,000 splash pages in this book. It's ridiculous. And the first thing you get is a splash page when you open it. And then we get a splash page a few more pages in. We get a vertical splash page. Flip the pages a couple more times. You get another splash page. It's just ridiculous. And they're not telling a story. They're showing a fight scene. But there's just too many characters, too many things going on for it to be coherent at all. Another splash page. It's a ridiculously messy fight scene before the whole thing gets incredibly quickly wrapped up. We find out the reason Superman is sick, and it's not because of Pandora's box, it's not because of mind control, it's because there was a piece of kryptonite in his brain the whole time that we're just finding out about. And then we find out that the traitor is the new Atom, and the new Atom has been the traitor all along, because she's been a triple threat. She's not working for the Justice League, she's not working for Waller, she's working for the big bad behind the whole Trinity War thing, behind Pandora's box, who are quickly revealed to be the crime syndicate. And it's just messy throughout. And, I mean, the art's pretty good. I like the illustration, I like the art. It's a little over-filtered, but I think it gets the job done, and it looks pretty and everything. And, I mean, you are getting these really nice, like if the splash pages, if anything, they are really pretty, which I guess is the main appeal of a splash page. But just the conclusion is so messily done and so hurried and rushed and comes out of nowhere and really just serves, the only purpose it serves is to introduce the crime syndicate, who are the main villains in September's big thing, which is Forever Evil. And, like, if you just wanted to set up the crime syndicate, you don't need this whole Trinity War thing. You didn't need to stretch this out across 2 months and have all of this hype between it, just for a setup. They're hyping up and framing this setup of something big as something big on its own, and it really isn't. And it's just, it's like, what? Why? Why hype it up like this? Why make this big crossover thing? Why introduce the Phantom Stranger, Pandora, and the Question as these big elements when they're just thrown to the wayside in this issue? They really have no effect on anything at all. It's like, you know, you set up these things in the beginning about Superman turning evil and about all that, and him getting sick, and, you know, what is Pandora's box, and you throw the Superman thing away by saying it was kryptonite, so it has nothing to do with Pandora's box at all. Although Pandora's box still does turn some people evil, and that's because it's the gateway to Earth 3, which is the evil universe. It's just, it's not well done. It's not a good book. Trinity War has been just kind of a waste, the whole thing, admittedly, not a good idea, but something that could have had something to do with something. You didn't really need Justice League Dark in there at all. You just need it there for Constantine. I mean, it's just you're throwing all these elements into a pot. It's like baking a cake, and you're like, well, I have all these ingredients. You know, you need flour, milk, eggs, and all that. And then you decide, well, let's gonna make a chocolate cake. And then, oh, some people don't like chocolate. Let's throw strawberries and honey and vanilla and blueberries. And you're throwing in all these fucking ingredients, and you're mixing it all up. And you think, I'm gonna get something good out of this cake. And then you reveal, oh, the cake, we're going to move the cake down because it's still time for, you know, and then you're like, you're deciding, I don't even know how to frame this metaphor because it's such a ridiculous thing that they did with Trinity War. It's just, it's not good. It was just a waste. It was just really dumb. Trinity War, going in, I suspected it would be dumb, but I didn't know how dumb it would be. And it is incredibly dumb. I feel like, just why? I have really nothing to say. I'm done. I'm done. I wish I were more done with this than I was, because I wouldn't be spending so much money on this if I were truly done. But I mean, just bad taste in my mouth. Which is glad. I'm finally moving on. We're done with August. Moving on to the September. Wait, no, we're not. We have one more comic from August. But it's a good one. I'm washing my mouth away of all this. We move on to the American Vampire Anthology. Actually, my first American Vampire book. I decided to start reading because I heard the Anthology was coming out, and I was really interested in this thing that Scott Snyder's been doing. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Snyder. Like, why haven't I gotten into an American Vampire yet? So I decided to pick up the Anthology. It's a thick book. You also have Gail Simone working on it. You have a lot of great writers working on it, actually. Ray Fox, Jeff Lemire, a lot of Greg Rucka, like people I really enjoy. So I thought, why not pick it up? And I'm going into this with no American Vampire knowledge. I know the basic premise from what I can get from the title, Vampires in America, circa, I think, the Golden Age of Hollywood, because that's really where all these stories take place, 1930s to 1970s. Mostly in the 1940s. But it's a neat little anthology. I still don't know much about the universe of American Vampire, but I don't really feel like I needed to going in, because all of these stories, about 3 pages each, or 3, 4, 5 pages each, are still really well done on their own. And, like, it's just a really well done anthology. It's like, you can buy this, not know anything like I did, and still get some enjoyment out of it. A lot of enjoyment out of it, actually. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 stories. One two-parter, the framing device story, which is I'm guessing one of the main characters of American Vampire. So you just have him going in, the framing device. He blows up a restaurant and is wondering, how am I going to be remembered? How are vampires going to be remembered? And then you have these 7, 8 other stories of vampires throughout the world. Well, it's all in America, but throughout America we have, but throughout time. The second story is colonial America. It's about Native Americans fighting off the first colonial vampires of their time. It's a really good story, just about colonialism. Like, you take the vampires out, just have it be a colonial story. I mean, the vampires, of course, add that metaphor to it, which I enjoy, but still very well done. And the art changes every time, too, and I really like the art for a lot of these books. So then you have kind of the Oregon Trail going west story with vampires, and they're all really short, like I said, so you don't, they each feel like, they feel kind of restricted by their length, almost, but not where it doesn't feel like it's a complete story, or where anything feels incredibly rushed. And each story, you get a lot of pathos, you get a lot of emotion, you kind of get the characters they're setting up in these 3 pages, and I don't know if you don't really need to know if these are actual, like, long-standing characters, because they're set up in these really short stories well enough where you still feel for them, you still want to know how this ends by the time you flip the page, and I guess that's really all you need from a short story collection like this. So, yeah, it's just, every story is well done. I don't think there's a weak one in the bunch. And within, it's amazing just how well, within 3, 4, 5 pages, how well it can get wrapped up in a completely new universe. Pick it up. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about this book. If you've never read American Vampire, pick it up anyway. It's a great it's a great sampler of the universe that I hope the book takes place in. And I'll be picking up American Vampire from now on, because I just really liked it. It's a heavy investment. It's $8, but I would say it's worth it for a nice just sampler of the American Vampire universe. Pick it up. Don't pick up Trinity War. Pick up this. So now we're moving on to September. We have a lot more books to go, so this is definitely going to stretch over an hour. But we have Spider-Man issue 17, start of a new arc, introduction of 2099 Spider-Man, as you can see on the cover. And so you have the majority of this book taking place in 2099, Nueva York, 2099. And it's set up. I don't know how long this arc is going. I think maybe 3 issues, but the majority of this one is set up. You have a nice action scene in the beginning with 2099, and some dinosaurs and stuff, because time is unstable all of a sudden. And then you have basically 2099 going back to the past, meeting Otto Octavius Doctor, and at the very end, it's like, okay. I mean, it's not much to say. It's, I don't know, it's just, like, unlike the previous 2 comics I read, like, nothing, I don't want to say nothing happens, but this is all set up for stuff happening. It's hard to review because you don't know how it's going to end up yet, but it hooks you in, I guess. It's I'm not really keeping up with the rest of the Marvel Universe. I only read Spider-Man and Hawkeye, so I don't know what this really has to do with anything else, if it does at all. But it's continuing a fantastic run by Slott. So if you're reading, pick it up. And I really do wonder how it's going to go with the whole future time crashy thing going on here. So just whatever happens. Kind of, yeah. Now we're back to DC, and so DC this month is doing a Villains Month thing, where instead of continuing actual arcs, they're kind of interrupting everything to give the villains a chance in the spotlight. So the first issue we have Green Arrow 23.1, which highlights Count Vertigo, from what I've read of these so far, a lot of they take place either these books are either a flashback, so villain origin story, or they tell us what is happening while the heroes are away for whatever reason. So this one is Count Vertigo's origin story, and it's a good origin story, and it has a lot of familiar elements. You have the abusive parent, the resentful child, all that basic sort of thing. It's not a complicated setup, but it's a well done setup. It's just it's not much really going on here. Count Vertigo he's an actual count. He's an actual political dignitary, forced out of his country by rebels at a young age. His mom sends him to an institute where he gains his powers. He resents his mom. He resents, being put through this hell. He goes back to his home country. It's like, I'm the count. I'm taking back control from you fucking rebel guys. Does just that. Sees his mom. Gets payback on his mom. And then goes after Green Arrow again. So, familiar stuff, but well done. It's technically very good. I wouldn't say you sympathize with the Count too much, but you do get a backstory, and it's not half bad. So, moving on to Action Comics 23.1, Cyborg Superman. We get another backstory. I'm pretty sure Cyborg Superman is the villain now in Supergirl. So I don't know really what's up with him, but we get another backstory. We find out that Cyborg Superman is Jor-El's brother, who was killed and reconstructed by Brainiac to be the perfect Kryptonian, and we see him on his mission to recruit other perfect specimens for Brainiac, which involves a lot of genocide and planet destruction and all that. So we get, pretty good action scenes of Cyborg Superman just taking apart this planet, looking for perfect specimens and deciding, oh, you have emotions, you're not perfect, you get out. Oh, you're begging, that's a weakness, you get out. And just kind of destroying everything in his path. Really good show of power here. Meanwhile, we also get some of Zor-El's memories of him competing with his brother and his home life falling apart because of this. Because he has to save Krypton his own way. And I think a good part of what we get out of this is kind of seeing just a different, like a what-if thing of Superman, which I think is what the Cyborg Superman character was introduced in during the War of the Superman. After the death of Superman, is we get these different parts of Superman. And so for this one, we kind of have that idea of, Superman on Earth is this powerful, perfect specimen. So what if instead of being our hero, he just wanted to recruit new perfect people and he just wanted to create a perfect society, and he eliminated all weakness, and just how terrible that would be for everyone. And so we get that kind of look at Superman through this other character, through this other Kryptonian. And I think that that's just a little interesting thing to get out of this book. So again, like a lot of these, they don't really connect to anything. They're kind of in a vacuum because their backstories just kind of, hey, let's introduce a backstory. So yeah, it's a good. Take it or leave it. I mean, if you think you'd be interested in this, if you think this is something you'd enjoy, buy it. But you have no obligation. It's not part of a bigger story, so you can leave it too. And that goes for a lot of these books, actually. So moving on to Superman 23.1 Bizarro. And this isn't so much a Bizarro backstory as it is a Luthor story, which makes sense. So we have Luthor, the old Bizarro thing. We have so this is a failed clone Bizarro. So this is basically just Luthor cloning Superman, and it's that sort of story. So again, it's not particularly a backstory because Bizarro is expendable because he's just a clone in this. But I'd pick it up just to see more of Lex Luthor. I really like the Lex Luthor character. I really like Lex Luthor in this book. He shows off, his own strengths and preparedness, and how he can manipulate people into doing his bidding. And it's just a good kind of Lex Luthor story. So I'd pick it up for that. I like the art style. It's really cartoony, really bold lines, but I like it. And you can just kind of see how resourceful and dedicated Luthor is to his cause of building his own race of Superman, which in its own way is kind of admirable. So, yeah, pick it up. But again, take it or leave it. But I'd recommend picking it up. Moving on now to The Flash 23.1 Grodd. So unlike the others, because we already kind of know Grodd's backstory, so unlike the other books here, we get what is Grodd up to while the Flash is away? And so this book, very rise of the Planet of the Apes, we have Grodd's return to the Gem Cities as they're trying to rebuild and make peace with the gorillas of Gorilla City. And Grodd's like, no, fuck that shit, I'm taking over. And he proceeds to do just that. So we get basically just Grodd fighting man and ape, taking his place as the leader of New Gorilla City. A lot of action. Really good action, too. You just see how brutal and how formidable Grodd is in this. And how just dedicated. He's like, I want to rule everything. I am Grodd. I am smarter than you. I am more powerful than you. Bang. And he even does the... He does the thing, and it sounds like the other thing, and I think it's clever and neat, and I enjoyed it, so I would pick it up. It's not by the usual Flash creative team, as you can tell by the pieces of art I already showed you, but it is good nonetheless. Yeah, it's a good villain story. I enjoyed it. I'd pick it up. Good little, fun little gorillas taking over Grodd being a badass book. So, yeah. Moving on. To Justice League Dark 23.1, The Creeper, where we get Creeper's backstory. And my big question with this is why? Why? And I get reinventing characters. I understand doing that. And there are some really good ones where you take a character and reinvent them, and they become better for it. Like I said, I think a bunch. One of my favorite comics is Neil Gaiman's Sandman, which is a total reinvention of the Sandman character. But I just don't get why they would do it with the Creeper, especially in this way. They turned the Creeper from a kind of Jekyll and Hyde, Jack Ryder falls into a bunch of chemicals, or he doesn't fall into chemicals. What happened with Jack Ryder? He tries to. He's a journalist. Gets tangled up with a journalist. There's a doctor working on like nanotechnology or chemical technology or something. Ryder goes to save the doctor, who is tangled up with the mob. Ryder gets killed. Doctor saves his life. Unintended side effect. Jack Ryder now has another personality as the Creeper, who is this crazy, kind of out of control being, but heroic. And they turn that into the Creeper, who is this centuries-old Japanese Oni demon who just wants to spread chaos everywhere and hates order, and as a ghost or demon possesses Jack Ryder and causes him to do all these terrible things because agent of chaos, blah blah blah. And it's just kind of really dumb and stupid. And I don't like the design of this new Creeper. I think, like, I do like the Oni kind of thing. I like that sort of aesthetic, but not for the Creeper. I just think it's dumb, and they're just turning a pretty cool character. I liked the original Creeper, and they're turning him into just chaos, 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 blow shit up, and it's dumb, and it's stupid, and I don't like it. So, moving on to Justice League of America 7.1 Deadshot. Now, my friend Adam, who I has previously reviewed a bunch of comics with before, but don't do it anymore because he doesn't want to anymore. But Adam is a huge fan of not the Suicide Squad, of Secret Six, and, well, I guess this is the previous Suicide Squad, and Deadshot. So I haven't asked him his review, his opinion of this yet, because he hasn't had a chance to read it yet. But I do know the original Deadshot's backstory, and they reinvent it here, so instead of him accidentally killing his parents, it is a mobster hit sort of thing, and it's an accident because the mobsters were shooting someone in the apartment next to him, and the bullets went through the walls and killed everyone in his family except for him. So he dedicated his life to not revenge, but to not wasting any bullets or money, and so that's why he dedicated his life to becoming the perfect shot, because he doesn't want to waste anything. And I don't know, they just kind of can make his character confusing, because they set it up as kind of a heroic backstory, you know, parents killed by mafia, he wants his revenge, but they still make him just like an anti-villain mercenary character, which is what Deadshot's supposed to be, but I don't know, it's just, they're playing both angles here. They make Deadshot really sympathetic, but at the same time, kind of he's still a mercenary, still working to get by, and I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, but I did like it. It wasn't bad. I'm kind of questioning the reinvention, the redoing of his origin story, but I wouldn't say it really lessens the character at all. Just kind of makes him. He's a confusing character. He is a mercenary first, which means he has kind of questionable motives. They kind of try and flesh that out here, try to explore what his motives exactly are. And it's confusing, but it's good. I think that this is one of the better comics to come out from DC from this week. And they don't completely destroy the character like they do with Creeper, so again, take it or leave it. So now we have Justice League 23.1 Darkseid. And this just completely separates from the rest of the Justice League thing. Ties in more with Earth 2 and Batman Superman, actually. But we get a mythology story. And I think a really good one. We get they reinvent Darkseid's history from a prince of Apocalypse who takes over the throne and all that, to a story, I really enjoy it, where they introduce the old, because of course Darkseid and the High Father and all that are the new gods. So then they introduce the old gods, who are these they're like the Greek titans, and they are rule over Darkseid's planet. Well, the proto-planet. Before there was Apocalypse and New Genesis, there's this one planet ruled by the old gods, and then Darkseid, or the character who becomes Darkseid, UXAS, he's sick of it. He's sick of the old gods and them just playing around with the mortals and not paying them any respect. So he decides to bring them down. And that's exactly what he does. And it plays out kind of like a Greek, old Greco-Roman story, but with some Judeo-Christian. I mean, they really mix all sorts of mythologies. They compare Darkseid to the snake in the garden. But he also has a little bit of Zeus bringing down the Titans in him. Of course, he's evil, but whatever. And you have this poor form, they describe him as a mud farmer. This weak mortal mud farmer go up against the Titans and win and become this powerful new god, Darkseid. And then you also have, along with Darkseid's origin, the origin of the High Father. And we find out that the High Father and Darkseid were brothers, and or brothers-in-law. And you have just kind of the mythology behind the new gods in the first part of this book, which I really enjoyed. I think is brilliant. And then you have it not all over again, but now you have Darkseid in power ruling over Apocalypse, and you have this snake in Darkseid's garden, who is the villain in Batman Superman, who is Kaio the Chaos Bringer, who decides to try and overthrow Darkseid by jumping through, by just creating all sorts of ruckus. Darkseid decides to try and kill her, but she discovers she can teleport to all these new dimensions. And so that's what she does, and she leads Darkseid on a chase through all these dimensions. And Darkseid is taking this all in stride and just kind of destroying all these new worlds. And it's just this brilliant sort of cat and mouse story where you have the rise of Darkseid, and then Darkseid discovering these new worlds, deciding to take them over, and this agent of chaos was trying to just create chaos in Darkseid, jumping around and doing all this. And it's just a really done mythology story. It's a really good myth that they've created in this book. One of the better villain books so far. I'm just amazed. Like, this was just a really good book. The art is really good too, I think, throughout. Really good art. Actually, who wrote this? Who is the creative team behind this? Let me find out, because the art kind of looks like what they did. Kind of looks like The Flash, but I don't think it's the same artist. But is it the same artist? Yeah. No, it's not. It's not the same artist. But it's yeah. I mean, this I think it definitely has more to do with Batman and Superman, because it's written by Greg Pak, who's also writing Batman and Superman right now. I don't know why this is Justice League why it's a Justice League comic when it really should be Batman and Superman. But yeah, it's two really well done stories where you have the rise of Darkseid, which is this kind of Zeus taking power from the Titans sort of deal. But then you have who challenges Zeus, and it's just really good. Pick this one up. If you like myths, if you like Darkseid, if you like New Genesis and the New Gods, if you like Batman and Superman, pick it up. This is a really good issue. Moving on to four Batman. We have four Batman comics to cover now in a row. Whew. starting with probably the weakest one, Poison Ivy. And so this is Detective Comics 23.1, Poison Ivy. And this serves as a mix between an origin story for Poison Ivy and what is Poison Ivy doing now that the superheroes are away. So so her backstory isn't changed all that much. It's we get another abusive parent. I don't know if she had that before actually, but we have abusive father, kills the mother, leaves her an orphan. And of course, she's a brilliant scientist, goes into chemistry, uses her looks to manipulate men around her to get what she wants. Eventually goes to Wayne Enterprises, develops her pheromones or whatever. Wayne decides to shut the project down because he finds it immoral. She becomes Poison Ivy. She decides to become a criminal and all that. Eco-terrorist, just whatever. And yeah, so we get the basic Poison Ivy origin story. We get we really get to see what Poison Ivy, like how dangerous Poison Ivy is, as she's basically single-handedly taking back Gotham, or taking Gotham to the plants, rather. And yeah, it's not bad. It's the weakest of the Batman stories this month, or this week rather, but it's not bad. If you like Poison Ivy, pick it up. But again, kind of take it or leave it sort of thing. But it's not bad. Yeah, it's good. Art's really good. I like the art. So yeah, just kind of your basic Poison Ivy origin story. Then we have Batman and Robin 23.1. My mouth is getting really dry. Two-Face issue 1. And this is not a Two-Face origin story. We all know Two-Face's origin story, I would hope. But more a character study. Where we, because Two-Face has this important duality to him. So, in a Gotham without Batman, what is Two-Face to do? And of course, to find out, he flips a coin, and he decides that while Batman is away, yeah, so over here we get the main thing, flips the coin, do I save Gotham while Batman is away, or do I do I make it bleed? And we get some stuff with trying to cross over, or connect this to Forever Evil and the not the Injustice Society, whatever, them. But the main crux of this story, the main plot, is Two-Face flipped the coin came up heads, which means he is taking it upon him to save Gotham while Batman is away, to become the public defender again. And so the main part of this story is just Two-Face going around, judge, jury, and executioner, and through the whole thing, he's doing these terrible law puns, and it's just hilarious. So he's going around killing, like killing the rioters, and saying stuff like, "You have the right to remain silent or scream. Anything you say most definitely will be shoved down your throat in a court of law. You do not have a right to an attorney." It's like just these really cheesy one-liners as he's going across Gotham, cleaning up the streets. And so the people he doesn't kill, he takes into custody. And then he goes to the courtroom where he decides to play judge, jury. Well, this time it's judge and jury. And he sets up the courtroom over here. And it's just, I think it's great how you still have this like kind of law and order thing with Two-Face still, because he still has that sort of past, because, DA and all that. But he's still completely mad. And I just think the play between him trying to do good and clean up the streets, but he's still psycho, so he's like, he doesn't actually have a trial, he just flips the coin. Heads, life in jail, tails, death sentence. And yeah, it's just a really fun comic. And Two-Face is a really fun character, and yeah, it's a fun comic. If you like Two-Face, pick it up. If you just want a fun Two-Face villain to read, pick it up. Just pick it up. It's a great book. I would totally get it. So now we have The Dark Knight 23.1, The Ventriloquist, which, let's face it, is a Batgirl story. So I don't know why they're branding it as The Dark Knight, because it's Batgirl. Just put it as Batgirl. And is Gail Simone writing, actually? Yes, it is written by Gail Simone still. So yeah, this is just a Batgirl issue. I don't know why they're saying it's Dark Knight. Whatever, it's dumb. But we get the Ventriloquist's origin story here, as well as her committing crime. Otherwise, and this is probably the most twisted book. I mean, I'm reviewing Joker next, but this is like the most fucked up character, I swear. You have this mix between, like, they set up the Ventriloquist as kind of a mix between Carrie and Anne from Arrested Development. There's like great, I don't know, I just think it's fun. It's like she's born, she's in the hospital, it's like, you have the most wonderful son, and what about my daughter? Who? And I'm just instantly reminded of Anne from Arrested Development, who Michael always forgets. George Michael's girlfriend, and whenever she's introduced, it's like, Dad, I want to invite my girlfriend over, and he's like, who? And like that's, I don't know, that's just what it reminds me of. But you also get a lot of Carrie in there with the girl who's constantly made fun of, who develops psychic powers, and but she's just so twisted because she's like, you have all these things about her being neglected, but she's saying, oh, I'm just giving my brother the attention because he was unpopular and untalented. It's just, oh my god, this is such a twisted character, and it's still just it's brilliant. Gail Simone is scary, man. I would not run a piss Gail Simone off in a dark alley because, this is just I don't know. I can't describe it as anything other than twisted, but also really, really good. This is a good book. If you want something dark that'll send chills up your spine, pick it up. This is just fucking weird, man. But good. Good weird. Like creepy good. Good weird. Wow. So now, like I said, Joker #1, Batman 23.1. Scott Snyder, don't think it's Scott Snyder writing it. Nope, it's Andy Kubert. But you get a good Joker story. The main thing, we get a little bit of Joker's origin, which I don't like when they try and do it, but I think they do it in a way where they still get a lot of mystery. Basically, what we get of Joker's origin was that he was an abused child raised by an abusive aunt who seems just kind of comically abusive, which fits the Joker. It's like you get panels like this where you have little kid Joker being fed 3 peas for dinner and just getting made fun of by the children at school, and just like this, just kind of, yeah, like being, and like it's still kind of scary, but it's just done in a way where you're like, this could be Joker making shit up. And while this is happening, we get Joker raising a gorilla to be his sidekick. So while you have all this kind of Joker history stuff, or Joker's supposed backstory, we have Joker cooking in the kitchen for his little gorilla baby, and it's really cute. It's like a cute Joker story. It's one of those where it's like, maybe Joker has emotions, but maybe he doesn't. And he's funny, because it's just, I mean, yeah, it's hard to describe because it's still kind of a twisted Joker raising a son story, But you have like these hilarious panels like Joker and the monkey stealing candy from a Girl Scout, and he's describing it as like just like raising a child. It's hard to say. It's just a really good Joker story where we get kind of the Joker's more emotional side, emotional than being the Joker. But we also find like he's just so deliciously twisted, and I love it, and it's just great. And at the end, you think, oh my God, is Joker actually going to be sad? But then he ends up laughing because of course not, because he's the Joker and he doesn't give a fuck. And it's just a really good Joker story. It's the stories like this that make people think that a Joker, like a Joker ongoing would be good. And like when you read something like this, like yeah, I could totally read a book that is just Joker. But I think it really takes a lot of talent to make something this good and to make like a single issue like this. So pick it up while you have something this good with the Joker in it because just it is fantastic. And coming off from that high, we get Forever Evil, Issue 1, the fallout of Trinity War, and I'll give it this off the get-go. It's a much simpler premise than Trinity War. You don't have nearly as many variables, nearly as many things being mixed into the pot this time. So that's good. So we start out kind of where we left off at the end of Trinity War with the Injustice Society or the Crime Syndicate. I don't know, whatever. You have them. They're in Earth Prime now, or the main universe now, causing all sorts of a mess, recruiting all the villains basically, and they're like, hey, we're evil and shit, and you're evil and shit. Let's be evil together and just completely destroy the world. So you have this huge splash page. We have all the villains joining the Injustice Society. I'm just gonna call them the Injustice Society because that's what I like calling them. And you basically have them destroying the world and turning the world into a huge mess. So that's happening. Meanwhile, you have Lex Luthor, who I guess is the hero of this book. It's still kind of setting up the whole plot. This is mainly an introduction to the premise because it's in issue 1. But while you have all this going on, you have Lex Luthor. He goes down, and he's like, "Where is Superman? Where are the heroes? Why is nothing being done about this?" So they're kind of setting him up as the hero of this book. And then I guess the big twist that DC was building up to and trying to hype up was that something bad is going to happen in Nightwing, and the Crime Syndicate basically captures Nightwing, and then where do they do it? And then they unmask him as Dick Grayson in front of the entire world, and we really don't know where that's going yet because they already killed Batman. That's another thing they try and set up, and they try and set up that the Justice League is dead and they had killed the Justice League, and to prove it, they give where do they do it? Let me find it. They give Black Manta Aquaman's trident, and they give Metallo and Parasite Superman's cape. And they're like, the Justice League is dead, but of course they're not because we don't actually see them die. We just go from the end of Trinity War where they were regrouping, and then we go to this book where they're supposedly dead, but we don't actually see it, so they're not. So I guess that leaves us to wonder, where are the Justice League? I don't know. I mean, I was turned off going into this just by the end of Trinity War, so I don't want to give it that much of a chance. But DC's really shoving it down our throats with the whole villains one thing. So I don't know. I don't know. Just kind of a meh. This issue itself wasn't bad, but and I kind of just, because they set it up, I am curious as to what happened to the Justice League and why is all this happening? Why aren't they there? What are they doing? Where are all the heroes? And where are the heroes other than the Justice League? Because we have this whole, where are all the other heroes? Where's the Justice League of America? Where's Justice League Dark? So, yeah. And the art is, you have some striking panels. You do have some really good individual panels going on, and yeah, they're setting up for something big. I don't know what. I'm kind of disheartened, but if you want to know what's going on in DC, this is the big thing happening in DC right now. So I guess you kind of have to at least pick up the first issue if you want to know. Hard to say where it's going right now, but just as an issue, it's not bad. And then the final book. Whew! The final book this week is Batman Black and White, issue 1. They're bringing back this miniseries, which I'm always glad for because they're always really good. In the comic shop, I was talking about this with John, who's my guy at the comic shop. They're like, I wish they would just make this an ongoing, and I said no. It's kind of like the McRib of comics, where they bring it back every couple years, and it's always really good. But if it were back, if it were an ongoing, it wouldn't be so exciting. So they're bringing it back, the McRib of comics, and you get 5 stories in black and white, done by a variety of talent. And like American Vampire, this is a really good short story collection. You have a lot of different styles, with a lot of different stories going on, and they're all really good stories. They all cover, they all just cover a different part of the Batman universe and something. I don't know. They all give like these really unique insights to Batman that I really enjoy. The first one is a Robin story. Batman has gone missing, so Robin teams up with Superman to save him, and it's really pulpy, and the ending is kind of abrupt, but it's still nice. It's still a pretty good story. Probably the weakest of the bunch, though. Then we get Neil Adams' story, which is Batman Zombie, which I think is probably the most interesting of the bunch, because it's not really Batman as a zombie, but it's you see Batman kind of at his most helpless, where you have a woman getting evicted from her home, or a person who just got fired. Batman thinks he's stealing food, but we discover it's a person who's just been fired from his job, and he's stealing it for his family, and he's really falling on hard times. And so you have all these, basically, you have a guy going to jail for 15 years for drug possession. And so all these scenes of injustice where Batman is absolutely helpless to do anything. And it's this just great part, and then at the end we find out it was a nightmare, and we see kind of Bruce Wayne's part in fighting injustice, and Bruce Wayne's like, get our lawyers, we're going to do something about all this crime that Batman can't prevent, because it's not guns, it's just a corrupt system. And so I think that's probably the strongest story of this book. Then we have a Harley and Ivy story, and those are always great. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's funny, it's lighthearted. And Harley and Ivy work great together, just as characters. So it's fun. It's a fun little lighthearted story, and the fourth is another kind of it's a Batmobile story. It's Bruce Wayne fixing up the Batmobile and just having a bunch of fun with that. And then we get a Ventriloquist story, which not the new Ventriloquist, the Albert Wesker? I just get confused which one is the Resident Evil character and which one is the comic book character. But it's a Wesker Ventriloquist story that also has a Bruce and Alfred subplot, and kind of doing those two together. And it's short, but it's neat, and it kind of shows the relationship between Batman and Alfred how Alfred keeps Bruce kind of focused on what's really important. Like a ventriloquist dummy, Scarface, and that sort of relationship. So it's a nice collection of Batman stories. It's $5. It's better than a lot of other comics that came out this month from DC. So if you like Batman, pick it up. It's just a nice little Batman anthology. And pick up the rest of it too, because I'm sure it's going to be brilliant, because these are always really good. And the art is really what's on display here, I think. And the art is fantastic too. So black and white, pick it up. Pick it up if you're a Batman fan. Pick it up if you're just a fan of anthologies. I'd recommend it. One of the better books. And so that is finally done. Whew! That was a marathon. So, yeah, I'm kind of sour on DC right now with the whole end of Trinity War, Villains Month thing, and it's like they're not really focused on completing a story. They're not focused on telling stories. They're focused on drawing out a publicity thing as long as they can, and that just turns me off. But a lot of the individual stories are still really good and still worth reading. So, it's hard to... it's like, I hate the business, but I like some of the stuff that comes out. And you can tell when stuff is bad, it's because of editorial, it's because of the kind of, just all the bad decisions they're making for business. But the stuff that's good is still really good. So, yeah, that's my take on all that, I guess. Still, I guess more good books than bad. You got some good gems there with Ventriloquist, Joker, Darkseid, Black and White. And the comics that are good, they're good because of the artists, and the writers. They're good despite all the bullshit that's going on in DC HQ right now. And I think they'll continue to be good until they get screwed over, like J.H. Williams III and his artist. I forget the name of the artist right now, but like they did in Batwoman just now. And it's a shame that DC is kind of pushing all this just bullshit on their creative like that. But they're still producing great work that's still worth, I think, paying them for and giving them their money. So, I don't know. I guess to close off this double week review is a quote. I think it was an issue of or a panel of Our Valued Customers, which is a webcomic about comic books. And I'm paraphrasing here, but it was there's 3 steps of comic book fan. There's fan, customer, and sucker, and it's a slippery slope. And so that's what I want to leave you with this week. So, but yeah, tune in next week. Hopefully I have a lot of good things to say, despite a lot of bad things going on. So, if you watch the whole thing, congratulations. If not, I totally understand who has the time for this sort of bullshit. But I enjoy doing it, as always, more than I don't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. So, thanks for watching. If you just skipped around, thanks for that too. If you have any suggestions, put them in the comments. And yeah, I will be back next week. I hope you join me, and thanks for listening. Bye.